So it's been basically leaked out that the Surgeon General has put a ban on vaping indoors, and the reasoning, and also besides that, they're also wanting to raise taxes on vaping products and e-cigarettes. And the reason for that is because they said that they looked at statistics, and statistically, more teens are vaping than what it used to. Now, some websites are making this an astronomical, growth, and it's not even that, but it is a growth. Now, first off, let me say that I don't condone anyone under the age of 18 using, vape mods, e-cigs, or even smoking cigarettes. Okay, I'm gonna put that out there. And I'm no guru. I don't know everything about what's being studied about vaping. Okay, I'm just coming from a consumer standpoint, a consumer who really vapes. Okay, not someone who tries it and then wants to make some sort of claim on it. I vape every day. Okay, I buy e-juice every day. I vape every day. Okay, now I used to smoke cigarettes. I started when I was 11 years old, and I stopped 5 years ago. I switched over from cigarettes to vaping, and it has helped quite a bit. Okay, not blowing vape up anyone's rear end, but I'm here to say that it really did work, keep me off cigarettes. And right now, I don't have any urges to smoke a cigarette, but I like vaping. Okay, and like I said, come February will be my 5-year anniversary, and I'm super excited, super happy for that. However, the thing that kind of irks me is this constant battle between vaping and cigarette smoking. First off, it doesn't take a genius to realize this. The government, the FDA, and everyone is putting so much pressure on vaping, and they're trying to push it out the way. It's lethal and all these things. Yet cigarettes, which are known to kill not just the user, but the people around the user, that is still sold in everyday food market stores and drugstores all across America. That is some hypocritical BS, in my opinion. I get it. There's not enough studies to prove how lethal or non-lethal vaping is. Okay, I get that. And to me, I would just say to all these different people that's doing their research, and to the government, to just shut up, do the research, figure out how lethal it is or how non-lethal it is, and then be honest. Never mind the money. Okay, it's a known fact that tobacco companies pay the U.S. government a fine for their products being sold when their products are known to kill. And the government uses that money in its fiscal budget. It depends on it. I totally get that. But to me, it just really irks me out. Like, let me share something with you guys, okay? So I had a debate with a guy who smoked cigarettes, who was interested in vaping. And, he was telling me that he'd never tried or never picked up the habit of vaping because he heard how deadly it was. It had more carcinogens than one cigarette stick. It caused popcorn lung and all these things he just threw out on the table, right? And I'm like, yeah, these are things that's being studied. These are things that, have been found through research, okay? But then I laid it down on the table for him. Like, look, vaping's been around for a few years now, okay? So on one graph, one statistic chart that they should have numbers for to compare, would be available if it was that lethal. So I ended up going to Google, and I Googled up, okay? I Googled up, and I worded it the exact same way, except for the last word was changed. So on my first search, I put annual rate of deaths caused by cigarettes. And what came back was a link to the CDC fact sheet. And in that CDC fact sheet, it basically states that cigarette smoking is responsible for more than 480,000 deaths per year in the United States, including more than 41,000 of those deaths resulting from secondhand smoke exposure. This is about 1 in 5 deaths annually, or 1,300 deaths every day. On average, smokers die 10 years earlier than non-smokers. Now that's if you Google searched annual rate of deaths caused by cigarettes. Now, if you search the exact same search phrase, but you change the ending from cigarettes to vaping, what do you get? Nothing. There is no fact sheet showing deaths from people vaping. And yes, I know someone is going to jump on and say, well, vaping is brand new. So someone who vaped for 4 or 5 years would not have the same effects as someone who smoked cigarettes for, 60 years. Yeah, I got that. I got that. But even through extensive research, they should start seeing similar patterns. If a person who smokes cigarettes, annually progresses closer and closer to death with the chances and the risks of lung cancer and other things, right? Then someone who is testing vaping should find similar patterns or similar effects going on and on. Now, I know that some people have tried and they did this thing about having someone vape and the poison they got out of it, but they were using like 10 or 20 times the amount of nicotine that is in a bottle of e-juice this size. My point that I'm trying to make with all this and why I'm ranting about this is that, it's insane on how much spotlight is on vaping in the attempt to shut it down. Raise taxes, the FDA classifying e-juice and vape mods and stuff as tobacco products when they don't even have an ounce of tobacco in them. Banning it in San Francisco. You can't vape in San Francisco, according to my brother who went to go vacation out there. All these things, and it's like, it's a very big deal for people about vaping. But I get weirded out because all this attention, this much attention for vaping and cigarettes that has a really high mortality rate is still able to be legally purchased in food stores, markets, and drugstores all across the United States. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I think it's hypocritical and it's just mind-boggling. I don't condone teenagers doing it. However, teens are going to do what they're going to want to do. The fact that they're sitting there, saying that, vaping leads to smoking cigarettes, I don't think so. Because a lot of people who vape, they vape and they preach getting off cigarettes. Every vape shop I go to, it's all the same. People share stories of their struggles with cigarettes and how they were able to get off of it using vaping as their way of switching one habit for another that had better results, like getting the ability to run, like myself. I would get winded on, a 5-10 minute run. Getting off cigarettes, vaping, my breathing came back and I'm able to run half hour and not feel winded. The thing is that these teens are going to do what they want to do. I think people have forgotten what it was like for them going through their adolescence. Their hormones out of whack, so people not making rational decisions. I mean, teenagers drink, teenagers smoke, and I'm not saying every one of them do, but some will even experiment with those things. As much as they're a good kid and have a good, a good head on their shoulders, will still dabble in curiosity with things. These things happen. Saying that vaping leads to smoking cigarettes lead to smoking marijuana. Marijuana is a gateway drug to everything else. It's a lot of paranoia instilled in people. But if, like, for instance, like I said, smoking cigarettes could lead to trying marijuana, then why sell cigarettes on your shelf? Why aren't cigarettes pulled from the shelf? You rarely hear any news about cigarette tax going up to prevent the youth from doing it. You rarely hear that. They may have done it a few times, but you rarely hear it as a focal point all the time. They're going to do it on vaping for people like me who don't want to ever touch cigarettes again and do something else. It's insane. Like I said, I'm no guru. I'm no expert in vaping. I can only tell you from my own point of view, and I can only tell you from my own experience. And that's vaping helped me get off cigarettes. So I'm not killing people around me with secondhand smoke. And at the same time, too, the juices are delicious. So being around me, I could tell you right now, if I vape and my cloud happens to go your way, you're not in for a disgusting smell. Unless you don't like the fruit flavor that I'm vaping, because I like fruit flavors like mango, pineapple, peach. I like mixed flavors. But yeah, I don't know. All the humbug about vaping. Because me, I don't have a problem with them banning it from inside buildings. I think it's a much better way to do it that way, because those people who still smoke cigarettes don't have to feel tempted to smoke a cigarette by seeing me vape inside a building. And then, of course, people who really don't want that cloud stuff around them. And I say cloud stuff because I'm dumbing it down. I know it's clouds. At least they're not hit with it. So it's about being respectful. I can deal with vaping outside. I'm so used to it. When I smoke cigarettes, you had to go outside. So the habit still remains that when I'm going to go vape, I still go outside, no matter what establishment I'm in and what they allow. I'm totally cool with that. I think parents need to be held accountable for what their kids do. Stop blaming everything else for the way your child is. If you don't want your child vaping, then be more involved in their life so you know what they're doing. But don't go and be like, my kid vapes, so it's the vaping company's fault. Because you're the parent. It's your responsibility to teach your kids right from wrong and show them a better way. To me, that's just pure laziness. So anyways, that's all I got to say about on that. If you guys agree with me, drop a like. If you guys want to add on to it or argue with me about it or whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it. Feel free. It's open. I don't expect this video to have any push, but I'm just speaking my mind.